Shocking video leaks. Yumenglong's manager caught abusing and torturing him. The entertainment world was shattered yet again as a chilling video surfaced online, one that no one ever imagined would see the light of day. In the leaked footage, Menglong, the beloved actor whose tragic death had already sparked international outrage, was shown enduring brutal abuse at the hands of the very man entrusted with guiding and protecting his career, his own manager. The revelations were devastating. The trust between an artist and their manager is meant to be sacred, built on loyalty and protection. But in Yumenglong's case, it became the very weapon used to break him down. The video, which has now gone viral across every corner of the internet, has ignited a storm of fury, heartbreak, and disbelief. The video that changed everything. The leaked clip, reportedly taken from hidden CCTV cameras inside a private apartment, shows Menglong in an agonizing state. His manager can be seen shouting at him, striking him repeatedly, and forcing him to perform exhausting routines late into the night. At one moment, the manager grabs a chair and hurls it against the wall as Menglong flinches in fear. The screams, raw, piercing, and desperate, are what haunt the most. Yumenglong's voice cracks as he begs for mercy, his once bright eyes swollen with tears. His trembling hands clutch at his chest, as though searching for some way to protect himself from the storm of violence raining down upon him. Millions who watched the video reported being unable to finish it. "I felt like my soul was ripped apart," one fan confessed in an online forum. To see him, our gentle Menglong, treated like that by the person who was supposed to protect him, I can never forgive it. Betrayal in broad daylight. The most shocking part was not just the abuse itself, but the revelation of betrayal. This was not a stranger. This was not an enemy lurking in the shadows. This was his manager, his mentor, his supposed confidant, the man who negotiated contracts, arranged interviews, and promised the world that he had Yumenglong's best interests at heart. Behind the glamorous red carpets and flashing cameras, the truth was far more sinister. While fans adored Menglong's radiant smile and warm persona, behind closed doors he was suffering in silence, imprisoned by fear of exposure, threats, and humiliation. The video revealed countless scars, both physical and emotional. Bruises painted across his arms, a thin line of blood visible on his lip, and a fractured voice that whispered through pain. It was an unmasking so violent that it shook the entire foundation of the entertainment industry. Fans react, from grief to rage. As the video spread like wildfire, reactions poured in from every corner of the globe. Hashtags such as #JusticeForMenglong, #ArrestTheManager, and #ProtectTheArtists dominated social media platforms within hours. One fan stood outside a broadcasting station holding a candlelit vigil, tears streaming down her face as she cried, "He was alone, and none of us knew. We laughed at his jokes, we sang his songs, but he was screaming behind the scenes." Another group of fans staged a protest outside the manager's residence, holding placards with Menglong's face, demanding justice. Police had to intervene as emotions boiled over. Many fans even admitted they could not sleep after watching the clip, haunted by the memory of their idol's cries. Colleagues in tears. Yumenglong's close colleagues, who had long praised his professionalism and kindness, were left utterly broken. Actress Xing Fei was seen sobbing uncontrollably during a live stream when the topic arose. "He never told us he carried all that pain alone," she cried. Su Kai, his co-star, slammed the table during a press conference. "That man was a devil hiding in plain sight. If only Menglong had told me, I would have protected him with my own life." Even industry veterans expressed guilt and remorse. "We failed him," one director admitted. The warning signs were there: his exhaustion, his sudden silence, his haunted eyes. "We didn't dig deeper, and now this is what we have lost." Authorities step in. Within hours of the video's release, police confirmed the manager had been taken into custody for questioning. Officials revealed that the video was not the only piece of evidence. There were multiple recordings spanning months, showing a systematic pattern of abuse, coercion, and manipulation. According to investigators, Yumenglong's manager had been exerting control over every aspect of his life. From his diet to his sleep schedule, even down to personal friendships, everything was dictated under a regime of cruelty and threats. Authorities described it as a house of horrors disguised as management. The dark truth about power and control. What has made this revelation particularly horrifying is how it exposes the dark underbelly of the entertainment industry. While fans saw glittering gowns, flashing lights, and perfect smiles, the reality was one of control, exploitation, and fear. Industry insiders whispered about the pressure many young stars face, the demand to maintain perfection at any cost, the silencing of those who speak out, and the cruel punishments meted out by those in power. In Menglong's case, the abuse appears to have been driven by greed and control. The manager allegedly siphoned money, isolated him from trusted friends, and broke his spirit in order to maintain dominance. One insider chillingly remarked, "He wasn't managing an artist. He was caging a bird, and when the bird tried to sing freely, he clipped its wings." A nation mourns again. For fans, this revelation has reopened deep wounds. Many who were still grieving Menglong's tragic death now feel a second wave of sorrow and rage, knowing the torment he endured in silence. At memorials across China, people lit white candles, left flowers, and played recordings of Menglong's most beloved songs. But this time, the mood was not just sorrowful, it was furious. The chants were louder, angrier. Justice for Menglong. No more silence. Protect our stars. The final blow, a note. Perhaps the most heart-wrenching part of the revelation came when investigators revealed they had found a hidden note written by Yumenglong himself. Discovered tucked inside one of his books, it read, "If one day the truth comes out, please don't remember me for my pain. Remember me for my smile. I endured because I loved you all. I endured because I believed someday the truth would be revealed." These words, now shared across every platform, left millions in tears. Fans recorded videos of themselves reading the note aloud, voices breaking as they promised to honor his memory. The call for change. This shocking video leak has now escalated into more than just a demand for justice for Yumenglong. It has become a rallying cry for reform in the entertainment industry. Actors and actresses have begun to break their silence, sharing stories of intimidation, coercion, and control. Some admitted they had suffered similar abuse, but were too afraid to speak out. "We were warned. Speak and you'll never work again," one rising star revealed. The government, under mounting public pressure, announced that it would launch a full-scale investigation into abusive practices in the entertainment industry, promising new laws to protect artists from exploitation. Conclusion: the legacy of a star. Though the video was devastating, its release has turned Yumenglong's tragedy into a symbol of resistance and justice. What was once hidden in the shadows has now been dragged into the light, and his suffering is finally acknowledged. As fans, colleagues, and an entire nation unite under his name, the message becomes clear. Yumenglong will not be remembered as a victim, but as the catalyst for change. His star may have been dimmed too soon, but in truth, it burns brighter than ever, illuminating corruption, inspiring reform, and ensuring that no artist will ever again be forced to endure what he endured in silence. Justice for Yumenglong. Always. The leaked video of Yumenglong's manager abusing him was more than just evidence. It was a window into the terrifying reality behind the actor's glittering facade. What shook people the most was not only the sight of a man they adored being humiliated, but also the unbearable detail caught on camera. Every strike, every shout, every moment of silence between blows. The footage begins with Yumenglong seated on the floor of what looks like a dimly lit apartment. The walls are bare, save for a small calendar with days crossed out in thick black ink. His posture is hunched, his arms wrapped around himself, almost as though he knew what was coming. Moments later, the manager storms into the frame, his footsteps echoing like thunder in the tiny room. "Stand up," the manager barks, his voice dripping with fury. Menglong hesitates. His body trembles, and he makes a weak attempt to rise. But before he can fully straighten, The manager slaps him across the face so hard that the crack reverberates through the speakers of every device where the video is played. Viewers later confessed that sound alone was enough to leave them shaking. The details that broke hearts. It wasn't just the physical violence. It was the small, almost invisible details that tore fans apart. At one point in the footage, Yumenglong whispers, "I'll do better, please, I promise," his voice fragile, nearly broken. His words reveal not only the abuse, but also the psychological torture he had endured. He truly believed this cruelty was somehow his fault. Another moment showed him reaching toward the table, perhaps for water or something to hold onto for strength, only for the manager to shove the glass onto the floor, shards scattering at Menglong's feet. In that instant, the actor's eyes glisten with tears, and he looks down as though afraid to breathe too loudly. One viewer tweeted, "The saddest part wasn't the slap. It was the way his eyes begged for freedom, but his lips kept apologizing." The soundtrack of suffering. What made the video even more unbearable was the sound, the muffled cries, the sharp gasps of pain, the occasional silence where Menglong would try to hold his sobs in, only to fail. Fans described the audio as something that would haunt their dreams forever. At one chilling moment, the manager forces him to sing, screaming, "Show me why they think you're worth it." Menglong tries, his voice shaking, off-key, each note breaking under the weight of fear. The haunting melody, cracked and drenched in tears, has since been replayed across social media, with fans calling it the saddest song ever sung. The world watches in horror. As the video spread, millions paused whatever they were doing, work, school, even meals, just to watch. But no one expected to witness something so raw, so brutal. The comments poured in. I had to stop halfway. I couldn't breathe. My heart shattered seeing his pain. He didn't deserve even a second of this. That video will haunt me forever. How could anyone hurt someone as kind as Menglong? Even celebrities broke their silence. One actress wrote on Weibo, "He gave us joy, but he was suffering in secret. To think he was carrying this pain while smiling for us, I can't stop crying." The pause that spoke louder than words. Perhaps the most harrowing part of the video was not the shouting or the slaps. It was the silence. After one particularly violent blow, Yumenglong simply slumped against the wall, his breathing ragged. For nearly a full minute, he didn't move, didn't speak, didn't even look up. The manager paced in front of him, shouting insults, but Menglong just stared at the floor. That silence was the breaking point for many fans. It was in that pause that the world saw the true weight of what he had endured. His body language screamed defeat, yet his tears betrayed a soul that still longed for freedom. The manager's coldness. The manager's face in the footage added to the horror. There was no hesitation, no guilt, only a chilling calmness, as though this was routine. His eyes burned with control, his lips twisted in satisfaction with every flinch Menglong made. It wasn't just abuse, it was dominance, power, and cruelty displayed without remorse. Viewers described him as the embodiment of evil. One fan wrote, "I thought monsters lived in fairy tales. Now I've seen one in real life." Fans recreate the scene. In a shocking turn, some devoted fans began reenacting the scene, not out of mockery, but as an act of solidarity. They filmed themselves sitting in dim rooms, hugging their knees like Menglong, with captions that read, "We see you, we feel you, we will fight for you." These videos went viral, creating a wave of empathy across the globe. Others created digital art, painting Menglong with angel wings, his bruises fading into light, symbolizing that he had finally escaped his torment. Psychologists weigh in. Experts also chimed in, analyzing the footage. Psychologists explained that Menglong's repeated apologies and submissive posture were classic signs of long-term abuse. He was conditioned to believe survival depended on obedience, one expert said. They also warned of the dangers of unchecked power in the entertainment industry, where managers often control every aspect of a star's life. This is not just about one man's cruelty, they said. It's about an entire system that allows such abuse to fester in the shadows. The last image burned in memory. The leaked footage ends abruptly, but not before delivering its most haunting image. Yumenglong, his face streaked with tears, lifts his head ever so slightly. His eyes, tired, red, yet still glimmering with the faintest spark, look directly into the camera as if silently pleading for someone, anyone, to rescue him. That moment has been screenshotted, shared, and turned into posters by fans. It's no longer just an image. It's a symbol of pain, a symbol of betrayal, a symbol of the fight for justice that continues even after his death. Conclusion: the beginning of a movement. This continuation of part 1 reveals why the leaked video was so powerful. It wasn't just evidence of abuse, it was a mirror reflecting the dark truths hidden behind the glitter of fame. For fans, colleagues, and even strangers, it was a call to arms, a reminder that no amount of success should ever come at the cost of silence in the face of cruelty. Yumenglong's tears, captured forever in those frames, have become the fuel for a movement. And though the footage was painful to watch, many agree it was necessary, because only by facing the darkness can the light of justice break through. Justice for Yumenglong, always.